What's going on, everyone? So at the end of season 3, the finale episode 10 of From, we found out that both Jade and Tabitha are the reincarnated versions of Christopher and Miranda, and so on and so forth. All the way to the inception of FROMVILLE, right? It's not just the reincarnated versions of Christopher and Miranda, but they were the reincarnated versions of, the group before, and then so on and so on and so on and so on, all the way back to the very beginning. But with this, there is a real kind of like entanglement, as Jada Smith would say, because Tabitha has like 3 husbands and like 6 kids now, right? Like, seriously. So, diving into it, you have Tabitha, who has her husband, Jim. Well, had her husband, Jim. Obviously, we saw him meet his end. A lot of people think that he's sort of going to survive, that was just kind of like a future event that, Julie's going to try to prevent at some point, because Julie looked very different. I hope not. I hope it's something that, like, because you already did it, like, kind of just do it, be done with it. I don't want to see, like, things retcon and then you start making things all confusing and stuff. Like, keep it simple, keep it straightforward. She found out her dad was about to die, went back, tried to stop it because she's a story walker, and lo and behold, she wasn't able to stop it. Perfect. There you go. But, sticking with Tabitha, Tabitha has Jim, her husband. Well, she also has now Jade, and the memories of her and Jade together. Now, they weren't Tabitha and Jade. They weren't even Miranda and Christopher, right? They were whatever their names was at the inception, John and Mary, right? Like, they were a couple, though, who had a daughter that was the little girl that kneeled in front of Tabitha that said Nkui and made them remember. But they have, like, Tabitha has the memories of them being together, of the love that they had. I mean, even Jade says, right? Like, we used to sing them lullabies. Like, we tried to save them, right? Like, he remembers, and she remembers the love that they had for each other, the love that they had for their child, right? And they have a child now in FROMVILLE. Yes, the child's dead, but they still, like, can see her. They still probably can communicate with her, especially now that they can remember and, maybe the dialect and language or whatever, right? Like, there's definitely something there. Okay, well, let's take it even further, right? Well, she also is technically Henry's wife, right? Because she has all the memories of Miranda. So she has the love and connection and memories of, her and Henry as youth and, going to the tree and having Eloise and having Victor and all that stuff, right? Like, she has the memories of Miranda, which means she has the connection to Henry. Now, I don't think that she's going to go around, hooking up with all these guys. Like, her and Henry are going to get married or anything like that. But the point is that, like, this is something where it could get kind of complicated, or it could be kind of cool story-wise to kind of, because she has the memories and she has the connection to all these various characters, right? That they can kind of help each other, right? Like, she can, like Miranda, she has the memories, but how much does she have? Right? Henry remembers moments. Henry remembers things. So Henry may be able to kind of help, oh, Miranda, do you remember, like, when, me and Miranda went and did this, right? Like, oh, I do remember. Do you remember when you made that first painting? Like, oh, now I do remember, right? Like, Henry could potentially help her kind of unravel and unpack things. Same thing with Jade, right? So she has technically 3 husbands that are now a part of FROMVILLE. And then you look at from the children's side of things, because you have the child side of things, right? Well, you have Tabitha's children in Julie and Ethan, who, one, just lost their dad. So that's going to be something. 2, they're both alive, where Tabitha and Jade's other daughter, right? Like, she's dead, right? So it's like, how does Tabitha kind of take priority? Does she take priority of her current children? Does she kind of look at them all as, like, the same because she has the memories of all and she has them growing up and stuff? Like, there's a lot to kind of unpack there for that. But you're going to have the aftermath of Julie and Ethan and kind of how they are impacted and how they feel about like their dad dying. And Julie literally saw it. Julie can story walk, right? Like, I think that's going to take a point. That's going to be something worth kind of diving into and exploring here a little bit. So, you have even that element of it. And, again, where does Tabitha kind of rank the two, right? Does she look at it as like, no, these are my kids that are, alive, flesh and blood here? Or does she kind of look at it as like, well, like, yeah, they're my kids that are here now, but I love Victor. I love, my Ankui kid, right? Like, I love all these kids like equally because she has these memories. She has these bonds. But again, it's not just Ethan and Julie. You have the daughter that she had with Jade, the Ankui daughter, right? That just literally unlocked all her memories and helped her remember. You got to imagine that there's going to be some type of relationship there. Got to imagine that there's going to be some type of like dialogue, some type of just back and forth narrative and, story building of her kind of reconnecting with the child that she loved and tried to save and failed and has continued to fail, right? Like, that's something that's important and worth noting, right? Like, she might have a connection to the Nkui daughter that she just doesn't have with any of her other kids. And especially since Tabitha, lost a child in Thomas, right? So she might look at it as like, I lost a child in Thomas. I lost a child in, like I just lost my husband. Like, how does that impact Tabitha, right? So you have Julie and Ethan. You have the Nkui child. And then you have Victor. And technically Eloise, right? You can add in Eloise to that too. Obviously, the thing is, like, we don't, like, they're doing everything but confirming Eloise is dead, right? Like, they will just, like, not confirm that she's dead, right? Like, you finally had the moment, you had the burial, right? It's like, okay, here it is. Here's the moment. We get the confirmation that Miranda and Eloise died. And Victor's like, I think so. Like, I did a whole video diving into that, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into it, but it just kind of feels like the writers don't know what they want to do in that regard. Do they want her dead? Do they want to use her? Like, I just kind of feel like they have that, but, technically Eloise is dead, but, does she appear as a spirit, something like that? Do we get that at some point? She's still alive somewhere and then is out there? Obviously Victor, right? She has a son in Victor. So minimum, like, if you remove Eloise because, we don't know where she is, we don't know what her fate is, but, you have Ethan, Julie, the Ankui kid, and Victor. Those are her children, both directly and indirectly. But once again, she has the memories. She has the love and connection to those kids. It's not just like, your buddy's kids. So, like, no, to her, it is her kids because she has a bit of Miranda inside of her and, has a bit of, again, Mary or whatever her name was back in the inception, right? Like, there are these emotions, these feelings. I mean, she got overwhelmed by it. It's why she needed to take a minute to go, kind of step away, right? Like, I definitely think that this is going to play a role. Right? This has to play a role. This has to have an impact. I mean, she has Jim, who, again, appeared to die. We'll see if, they kind of go back on that a little bit. But you have Jim, you have Henry, and you have Jade, right? Those three. So Henry, Jim, Jade are her husbands, again, directly and indirectly. And then she has Ethan, Julie, Victor, and the Ankui daughter that are all her children directly and indirectly. That has to play a role, right? Like, that has to be something, right? Like, she went from, normal life, husband, 2 kids, to now I have 3 husbands and 4 children, potentially 5, right? Because, and does Thomas play a role at any point? Right, does he step in? Because then technically that'd be 6, right? Like, she's got a little army. She's got a little army here. But I am very interested to see how they kind of unpack this and unfold this because I do think it's very interesting. And I am very fascinated by it. but obviously it's up to them to kind of figure out what direction they want to go. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like this? Do you not? Are you kind of like, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear this, so let me know down in the comments below. How do you want them to kind of unpack this? How do you want them to kind of unravel this? I'd love to hear it. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.